welcome to the next episode of Books and Banter podcast. My name is Marcia Spence, and I have a wonderful guest with me today, Sukhvinder Kaur. Sukhvinder and I only met a few days ago, and I was blown away by her new book. And it is World Mental Health Day, and I just thought this book would be appropriate to talk about, and this author to talk to. See, I'm getting all my tongue twisted, but I'm not going to edit it. And so, yes, welcome, Sukhvinder, or can I call you Sukhi?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, hello, Marcia. Yeah, just call me Sukhvinder, easier for Sukhi. Yeah, just call me Sukhi. Yeah, thank you very much for having me this evening.
You're welcome. Sukhi, first of all, what is the title of your book?
Yeah, so my first ever self-help book the title is There is Light at the End of the Tunnel
Of Loneliness. Wow, that's a powerful, powerful title. And it's sending chills through me because I know that at many points in my life, I have felt extremely lonely. You know, going to work, being around lots of people, and then coming home. And at the time, it was just myself and my youngest daughter, and just feeling really lonesome when I got home, you know. And then I think one of the worst things is to be lonely when you're also just in a room full of people. So, Sukhi, why did you write this book?
Well, the reason I took this book on about loneliness because in my adult life, when my marriage broke down, I had a lovely childhood, brought up by lovely parents, and when my marriage broke down, when I was my adult life, I had two young kids that time. They're adults now, and I felt lonely.
Okay.
Like you said, you know, even though even though now as well, I have my family around, I have support with the community where my work colleagues as well, but I still felt lonely when my marriage broke down.
Okay. And so, how did you cope with that?
Yeah, so when I started to feel lonely was at night time, during the bedtime. People, people go to sleep, and rather me going to sleep, I used to stay up all night thinking. I started to think all sorts of things that didn't even represent in my life as well, those things as well. Overpowering my mind, overthinking. So what happened was, well, I thought, well, is it something wrong with me, or is it something new on the market? Everyone's feeling lonely or something. So I came out of my comfort zone, and I started to research outside. Like when I mean outside, I started to talk to my colleagues at work about loneliness and how I'm feeling. Have they ever experienced loneliness, or do they know anyone feeling someone feeling loneliness in their,
Yeah.
around them as well? So all that sort of came back, my research. So I researched, talking to people, finding all kinds of different kinds of ages of people, how they're feeling about loneliness, what loneliness means to them. Do they know the services out there for lonely people, and what are they?
Are there services?
Yeah, there are services, but they don't call themselves like the particular loneliness. It's like services like for mental, that more associated with mental health. So when we
Okay.
go to a service where it says mental health, they combine in all kinds of issues around that subject, mental health. So loneliness is one of them.
Okay.
So those sort of kinds of services out there.
Okay. So, can you just take me back to the nights when you were, I'm assuming then your overthinking kept you awake. And so, what would you be thinking about?
Um, when my marriage broke down, I was young, and I always my ex-husband was my first love. It was an arranged marriage. It was everything, everything, we used to do everything together. We used to hang around together, decisions together, do things together, go out together, everything was together, even when the two boys were born as well, we used to decide things together as a family as well. So
Yes.
everything was him, with my life was actually with him. So when my marriage broke down, and the things I used to think about was like, even though my family was there, I knew I had someone to talk to. I sort of fall back to as well. My work
Yeah.
as well. Things like, I know thinking, oh, why did he go? What happened?
Mm,
Was there something wrong with me? Even though there was a reason behind, the breakdown, the breakup of the
yeah.
marriage, but I used to sort of start blaming my things. Could I do this? Could I do that? If I did this, if
Okay.
I could say that, or
Yeah.
something to do with the children, or could I do anything more better from other women? Am I wasn't I a perfect wife or something? Am I done
Okay.
wrong? So all this sort of overthinking, even though they weren't true, but I
Mm,
start thinking those things as well.
yeah.
Am I always going to be lonely? Am I going to be on my own? What am I going to do now? Who am I going to
Mm,
do? Who am I going to make decisions
mm,
to? He was everything,
yeah.
you know. How am I going to hang around it? I didn't even know the first thing. We used to do everything to decide things, even the personal, really deep things. We used to talk
Yeah.
together, make decisions, you know what I mean? Even though his family's around, my family's around, but we still used to do things together.
Yes.
Um, we used to think that no, even we were two different individual people, but we was a feel to say we are one. We are one
Okay.
fully, but yeah.
So
So
you were in a
yeah.
position where suddenly you were on your own and you felt on your own. And so did that thinking and ruminating about what you did in the past, what was going to happen to you in the future, did that then keep you awake all night?
Yeah, so I used to stay up all night, I used to get up on the bed, sit down in the bed, move sides this way and that way, stay
Yeah.
straight,
Trying to sleep. Were you
trying to sleep as
trying?
well. I used to get up and start to glaze out the window to see if it's, is it going
Mm,
light? What time? Can I see people on the road? Is it time to get up? You know,
okay.
but when it was time to get up, the alarm used to go off, that's the time I used to feel like, oh, I'm a bit tired now. I want to go sleep. I need to go sleep. I haven't slept all night,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
it created insomnia.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's the nighttime. So you weren't getting sleep. That was the nighttime. So how did that then impact your daytime?
Oh, that was really, really horrendous because I used to be irritated. I mean, I'm a really laid back, really calm, general sort of like really,
Hmm.
sort of a person, someone to be loving around, fun to be around with, always smiling,
Yes.
happy, But I became like irritated, always get annoyed, snappy,
Hmm.
because snap
Okay.
at other people. Don't do that. Do
Wow.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never used to eat. I never my food, my time of eating as well. When all sorts. I used to get
Hmm.
headaches as well. I always feel really weak. In myself. I'm always tired. I couldn't
Hmm.
concentrate. I don't know what I was doing. Like even though I
Right.
was doing my daily what I needed to do, go to work,
Yes.
have the children, whatever I need to do, go to shopping or
Hmm.
anything else. But I was so tired. I couldn't think. My brain was like, honestly, I just want to
Mush.
go to sleep,
Yeah.
exhausted.
Exhausted. And in your loneliness, were you lonely? Did you feel lonely at work?
Um, Well, I didn't because I would go to work and I knew that, work was obviously I worked in the supermarkets, work was,
Hmm.
was a fast pace, the environment,
Yeah.
public coming in and out, and
Mm.
stacking. I didn't have time to think, that I was lonely. I was communicating with my staff members, the community, with the people
Okay.
coming. So I didn't really have time to sort of like feel lonely at all.
Okay. So you were busy. So when you were busy in the day, you just felt tired, but not necessarily lonely.
No.
And then when you were doing things with the children, if you were going out shopping or doing an activity with the children, what was that feeling like?
Yeah, that time I really did because I felt, like, well, where we used to like when my ex-husband, we used to be together, we used to do things together. He used to take, one child, I used to have the other one in the pram, he used to hold his
Mm.
hand, and
Yeah.
he used to go shopping together, we used to choose things, on the shelves together. He used
Hmm.
to do the trolleys, pack my bags together. So doing it on my own with the kids as well, taking them to the park or the activities after school as well, doing their homework, giving them a bath, everything was, I felt really lonely because I thought I was just felt lost. Even, I really felt so lost.
Okay. And where does the feeling of loneliness come from? Because there are many people who like to be on their own, who like to do things on their own. So where does that feeling of loneliness come from?
Um, yeah, that's a good question because I feel like, in my research as well, and also going through that loneliness as well, like, when I've still got people around me. I know there's support around me. I can talk to people, I've
Yeah.
got loads of people around me, family. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like, when you're on your own, you're doing things as well, what you love, you like your own company as well,
Yeah.
your own self company. But in that time as well, people feel you're not talking to anybody. You're just
Yeah.
doing your own thing. You got no communication from the outside. You got no one, not doing any communication.
Mm.
You're on your
And
little.
could you tell anyone? Did you have a friend, a sibling, a parent that you could say, I'm feeling desperately lonely and I'm staying up at night and I'm just lonely? Was there anyone you could tell?
I did find in though, because when I really, really got myself really lonely, really, really, into that, circle, into that final edge of my, feeling exhausted, not eating properly, not thinking,
Mm,
it came to a point I nearly had a breakdown, to be honest. And that
okay.
time was a hitting point, I need to get the support now. you know,
Yeah.
and then I reached out. I spoke to my parents. I knew that I can go back to, I always can go to support my family to speak to. So
Yes.
I spoke to my mum first. My mum was my first point for communication to tell her, mum, I've been up all night, because I used to give all the children to her as well,
Okay.
oh, mum, could you take the boys for a little while? Mum, I feel like,
Mm,
I need to go and do this, even though I tell her go and do this, I need to go and have a little bit of nap of sleep.
sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sleep, yeah. Not go and do something, but I used to tell
Yeah. Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
"Can I go and do something while you have the kids for like half an hour." Oh, she used to
Yeah.
listen, bless her, but
Oh,
me, it was like going to sleep. But my
yeah.
mum was my first point, though. Yeah,
Okay. And when you told mum, what was her response to you?
mum was saying, "Well, why did you? Why didn't you? Why did you always felt that? But you know that we was always here. Always
Mm,
gonna be your mum, your dad, and me, your siblings. You got your kids as well. You
mm,
got a very good community, your workplace. Everyone cares for you. But why you?
mm.
Everyone cares for you. Why do you feel?" She just took me on my arms and gave me a big hug. And
Oh,
she did have a bit of a tear because I was starting to cry as well. I know. I knew that as well deep down. I knew that, but it was just that when that connection with your husband,
yeah.
the partner relationship, that connection is a completely different
It's
relationship.
different.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
We all
So
have
would
individual relationships, don't we?
yeah. So would you say you were depressed at that time?
I did get to that point, depressed, exhausted,
Yeah. Yeah. And depression is a very lonely place
very
to
lonely.
be,
Very.
because people on the outside can't necessarily see, can they, what you're feeling? So it's a very, very painful place to be. So you describe that as the dark tunnel, the tunnel. So your book, let's have a look at the cover because
Yep.
it's an amazing picture. So your book is There is Light at the End of the Tunnel of Loneliness. So you describe loneliness as a tunnel. Why do you describe it like that?
Because I described it like that, because when I talk to people, and every time I talk to people, and I believe that as well, we have
Mm,
that, we always, this light,
yeah,
all around us is light. And I always say as well, this light inside us as well.
yes.
And people come and say, well, how come we got light inside us? What do you mean by that? There
Mm,
is light inside as well. And every time my communication, the way I speak as well, I always say there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And that's where my title always come from, the light.
wonderful, wonderful. And how did you get to that place to find that light at the end of the tunnel? What did you have to do to get to that place?
So when I spoke to my mum actually made an appointment to speak to my GP.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I went to my GP. My mum actually went with me as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then mum was sitting there and I poured out to my GP, which is really, he was really quite really good because he was a really empathetic person and quite a good
Brilliant.
business as well. And that actually really helped as well, someone to actually and really empathize with you as well.
Yeah.
He said, your personality is so bubbly, you never had, but good, very good that you come to me. And
Mm,
yeah, so he gave me some support. He put me through to the NHS counselling sessions.
okay.
So I had some support there as well.
Did the counselling help?
It did help, definitely helps to speak
It
to
did help.
somebody. Yeah, definitely.
So the other thing I'm aware of is that what background are you? What faith are you?
Yeah, so I'm a Punjabi Sikh.
Punjabi Sikh. So like very much like in the Caribbean community where I'm from, the Punjabi, Sikh, and any South Asian community, um, to talk about mental health issues, there's a lot of stigma. So you've written this book, and what has the response been in terms of people in your community to this book?
Oh, the response has been absolutely amazing. The
Brilliant.
first question they asked me was, Sukhvinder, what made you write this book?
Mm,
Loneliness, light. What's
yeah,
that about? Because I was also been told as well,
yeah.
in our community, you're the first Sikh Punjabi to write a book like this. No
Wow,
one's ever written a book on
wow,
loneliness. And they were
wow.
so proud of me as well. And I thought, oh, really? I wasn't really sure.
Mm,
I was told by actually an NHS consultant
mm-hmm,
in London. He worked all over the country and he still works in the UK as well. He was a retired consultant and I saw him, met him in my community in the temple.
mm-hmm.
And he come across me as well because I was talking about my book to somebody else, and he come across.
Yes,
He goes, "Oh, what is that?" He goes, "Wow, I've been in NHS consultant for over 35 years of my life. I've been all over the country.
yes.
You're the first Punjabi lady has ever written this. I've
Wow.
never, because you should be so proud of yourself, Sukhvinder. Why did you?" And even he actually questioned me. Why
Why?
did you about this?
Mm. So tell me about the some strategies that you have in the book. Does the book just tell your story, or does it give people tools and strategies to deal with loneliness?
So it's got about myself, about
Mm-hmm.
the author myself, and what's helped me as well.
Okay,
Yeah, so everything what's dedicated in my life as well is in there. So they've got a bit of feel about me as well. Who is this
great.
author?
That's
Uh,
important.
yes, it's important. Yeah.
Mm,
So then I've also written about what's helped me, the strategies and the resources, and the organisation services out there.
okay,
So everything I've tried and I still use them in a managing in my loneliness and I
okay.
still use them. I've
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, so I've written about journaling. So if anybody has never written about written anything, or don't know about journaling, why don't you start to write, get a pen and paper and start writing how you feel.
Yeah,
It could be just word or sentence. How you feeling at that moment, or have you
yeah,
felt before?
yeah,
What is the first thing that you think about as well? Thoughts and feelings.
yes. That's
Um,
great.
Yeah, so I've written about, if you haven't written about written anything, why don't you start writing a journal? Try journaling now.
And how does that help? Is it because you get that feeling out?
You so where I was used to like overthink, overpowering your mind.
Mm,
No, that's you're overpowering your mind, your brain. You're
yes,
overthinking it, and loading it with all sorts. So doing that, you're pouring everything out of your mind, clearing that mind onto
onto the
a piece of
paper.
paper. And then when you reflect back on what you've written, or even a little picture beside you,
Yeah,
you can sort of read it, reflect it, understand it, start understanding about how you're feeling about it.
Yeah.
What have you written? Does it resonate with you, or something's happened? What made you?
Mm,
What's going on? So it makes you understand as well how you're feeling and going forward, plan forward.
mm.
So it also
Brilliant.
clears your mind as well, gives your mind, relief as well, because you're
Yeah.
relieving everything from all that mind you've been pouring.
Yes.
It's all on that piece of paper.
On the
It
paper.
makes it looks clear as well.
Yeah. And is it good to date that piece of paper? Because I know that there was a time when I journaled and I wrote in a diary each day. And it was a time when I was particularly low. And then I remember reading it again a year later, and I was feeling so much better that year later that it was just a really good way of reflecting on my journey and what I did go through at the time, which was extremely painful, and then looking at where I'd arrived at once I was feeling better. So I think I think journaling is an excellent strategy. And the other thing that I just love about what you've done with this book is that you've had it translated. And
Yes,
so yeah.
I had it translated to. I was told by my own Sikh community, um,
Mm-hmm.
when I met, at my temple, all the uncles and aunties saying, "Oh, it's been absolutely amazing. You've written a book, but it's actually in English. We can't read English.
Right.
How we're going to read your book, Sukhvinder?" I said, "Oh, that's when it started got me thinking again." So I found a nice, lovely lady Punjabi who actually can read and write Punjabi. Unfortunately, I
Brilliant.
can't read and write Punjabi.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gave her the manuscript of this English, and I said, "Can you translate it to Punjabi?" So this is what I've got now. Also
Excellent.
my mission is to get the book out in Punjabi. And so the manuscript is all ready.
Brilliant. That is brilliant. That is wonderful. And where can we find your book?
Yeah, so the book is on Amazon. So it's on Kindle as well, and it's on hard copy as well. So
Okay.
all the money I'm raising from the book is going to the mental health charities.
Okay. Okay. Brilliant. And how much is it to buy?
So the hard copy is 9.99, and if
Uh-huh.
you're on a Kindle, it's on if you're on non-membership, and it's 3.99.
Okay, brilliant. And if you're a member, then you can get to read it, I think,
Yes.
free, don't you?
Yes.
Fantastic. And just finally, who is this book for?
Right. So this book, because I felt in my research and also personal life as well, that loneliness is our life is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Individual, our human beings journey. Loneliness can happen any time of our life. We can
Yeah.
actually be born with loneliness and we carry it through our lives, throughout our lives.
Mm,
Or something happens like myself, when I had a lovely childhood, but my loneliness has happened when I was an adult life. So this book is a self-help book for every single person.
okay. And does it matter what age you are? Is it for
No,
adults?
it's for every single age.
Okay.
And this book,
Fantastic.
yeah, so this book is actually across the UK and also globally, all the whole world as well on Amazon.
Fantastic. So you can get it anywhere in the world. It's worldwide on Amazon. It's only 9.99, did we say?
Yes, yes.
And 3.99 for the Kindle version. So get this book. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sukhvinder. Lovely to meet you. And I'm looking forward to reading my copy because I know that there are times, maybe even now, you can kind of feel on your own. And there's nothing wrong with being on your own, but it's not healthy to be feeling lonely, is it?
No, it's like you said, is even though you got people around you or you don't have people around you and you feel lonely, you know, loneliness is a really, is a killer, I would say, from, we go
Okay.
through illness, we go through other stages of our health problems as
Mm-hmm.
well. But loneliness is a killer. And I
Mm,
would say, if anybody is out there feeling lonely, or anybody's going to feel lonely,
yeah.
please do, you are hearing this book. It's a self-help book, it's
Mm,
a starting point. It's going to be with you all the time. Every time you're going to feel lonely, you've got the whole book together. It's something that, when you go to a therapist as well, the book has got a starting point for everything you've got in there, because it is a I also found that it's a long list of waiting lists or NHS just to speak to somebody as well.
Yeah.
And costly for private, accounts as well. So all this book, it's already got everything in there, what you need as
That
well.
you'd need.
Yes. And
That's brilliant.
so my last point was
Yeah.
for the book as well, I would like to say, I want this book to be a powerful beacon of hope, reminding you all that even in the darkest of times, there is always light.
Thank you so much, Sukhvinder. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on Books and Banter podcast. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.